Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Spurs News Podcast. This is episode 279 of our show. Joining me to discuss all things in the mad and happening world of Spurs, it's Stefan.
Hello. How are we doing?
Okay. I'm still suffering the wrath of SA abuse. If anyone's seen the picture this week of Jed Spence on international duty, just looking at him with utter disgust and disdain, Jed Spence is now my new spirit animal.
I did find that fantastic. Just the look on his face is like, whoop.
The best thing is I didn't realise is that was a still from a video. I saw on TikTok someone shared the actual video, and it's not just like you've caught a moment and it's like, oh, that's funny, it looks like he's giving him the stink eye. He genuinely is like a good 5-6 seconds looking at him like, who's this
Yeah, who's this?
Loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Special shout out to Jed Spence, of course, who's in the England squad for the first time. Hopefully he gets on and gets his first cap. He certainly deserves it.
I'm surprised it's taken this long after the season he had once he got into the team last season.
Yes and
I'm glad
no.
to see him there.
Yes and no. I have found with international football sometimes it's harder to get out of the squad than it is to get in it sometimes.
He's looking at you, John Henderson.
Yeah, well, hey, no comment. Yeah. But that's international football, and that sucks. Let's talk about Premier League football. Let's talk about football we love.
No, because that sucked this weekend as well.
Yeah. So, on the show last week, I said anytime we have a new coach, new manager, anything like that, I always think to myself, there's certain markers, certain games I look to, and I think, right, let's see what they do in these situations, because I've seen so many just flops in these situations. One of them that I brought up is obviously the situation where we heavily rotate for a cup game against a lesser opposition. I've not seen in my lifetime Tottenham be able to do that, where the squad players are as motivated as they should be to perform, to do well in that. Pochettino didn't manage it. You saw us get knocked out of cups all the time under him, which frustrated the hell out of me.
Yep.
Jose certainly didn't. Conte, no. The other one, no. No, not doing it. So I'm not kind of. That's one of the things. Obviously, I want to see that an improvement. Another thing that I talked about, which was more apt, is for the last 8 international breaks in a row, going back to international break of October 2023, we have lost. That's unacceptable. That is so bad.
That is quite a time, isn't it? Was it Luton was the last team we beat, wasn't it?
Yeah, who are now in League One.
Says a lot.
It does say a lot. And I think we scraped that game. But the point is before an international break, the only thing that makes sense to me about that is that we have a group of players who are checked out and on the plane. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, there's always that accusation thrown at QT Romero, for example. He cares more about Argentina than he does about Tottenham or anything. I'm not 100% on that anymore. I used to be.
I used to be up until this summer.
Like 95%, I was kind of like, yeah, that guy would, basically call in sick every day and then show up on international duty, and it was kind of...
It was Lo Celso used to do that, didn't he?
Yeah, that guy basically used us as a gym workout company.
Yeah,
I got all these niggling injuries. Oh, I'm all right for international break. I've come back with a few injuries, by the way. Just want to slap him. The one thing I will say is that hasn't changed since he's left. So no, I do feel a little... I do feel a little bit better about that. I kind of like, if he'd gone and he's played 30 to 40 games a season since, I'd be like, you cheeky bastard. But no, he clearly is just someone who's injury prone. But Romero, that guy celebrated winning the Europa League hard. And I kind of saw myself in him in those moments. But I did have that nagging suspicion of, oh, perhaps he's won that and he's thinking, I get my move to Spain now, good time sort of thing. He had a great relationship with Ange, so when Ange went, and I mean, you only go, because there's certain things like revisionist stuff you read in the press, because you got to remember, journalists tend to do, and I'll get hammered for saying this, journalists obviously do want to write stories, they do want to make sure content's correct, they do want to put out accurate information. I'm not slagging them off. But sometimes they will also get given a story by the club. Like, oh, this is players doing this, they're doing this. Here's a story, and you put that out there for us. We'll make sure that next time we got a transfer, you know what I mean, next time there's the manager's first question is going to be you, sort of thing. And as a journalist, you need to do a bit of that, I think, because you need to build a relationship with the club. Otherwise, it's adversarial and you're never going to get a story and you're never going to get a phone call back to confirm anything, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So this isn't attacking anyone. But there's a certain element of revisionism going on since he signed his new contract. Like, has everyone just suddenly forgotten that QT didn't say a damn word about Ange being fired until the day Thomas Frank was appointed, and then he put a statement out like an hour later?
I mean, the timing on that was phenomenal.
Deliberate is what it was. It was because it just, like, the guy made it abundantly clear to everyone. I mean, every time he went on international duty, Daniel Levy in Tottenham must have just been like, "Oh, here we go again." Yeah. Like, because but he's so blunt, and I think the thing that I've realised or found interesting is he is blunt, he is direct in the way he speaks, but he's also quite shy, which I never would have pictured in a million years.
Yeah, he really, really does not like being like.
No,
I say it in front of the camera. Obviously, he's a footballer. He's on the pitch, cameras every day, but he does not like the whole having to sit down and do a 1-to-1 or even end of a match, kind of stand there and do this 1-to-1 thing.
Really, that's not his thing. And like a lot of people said, like he communicates a lot still in like his native language. But he can speak English quite well. He just doesn't like to.
I absolutely loved it when he did that interview. Perfect English. And everyone's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, but he did sign his new deal, and there is this kind of great feeling around it. And he's gone on international duty now, and I mean, he's a funny bugger. Because did you see the very first thing he posted since going on international duty was him and Emi Martinez, who, of course, is now in a right mess of a situation at Aston Villa.
No, oh yeah, because he was gonna go. He's now turned down a move to Turkey, isn't he, to stay at Villa?
Yeah,
even though he kind of told Villa, "I'm off."
See, I don't know what that is. Like, there's got to be some more truth to that situation, because the idea that Man United signed a keeper, not him, when he was available, is very strange to me.
Yes.
Like, Martinez, like his record at Villa in the Premier League is pretty exceptional. And the idea, and the day before deadline day, he was basically being offered to every club in the league. But every club had kind of done their business or weren't about to move their goalkeeper around.
Yep.
So, yeah, madness that. But anyway, we lost again to Bournemouth. Death, taxes, and losing before an international break appears to be just facts for Tottenham. The game was awful, as in the lack of performance. Do you think we got tactically done? Because for me, I actually just, because a lot of people said that, but I actually just think it was effort. It was just a real lack of, the players looked like they had concrete in their boots. Just none of them played well. Not anyone.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I don't think it was a tactical issue. Although at the same time we started playing this kind of up and under. I thought I was watching rugby union at one point. It was come on. Of like, we've got the ball up and chase it. It's come back to us.
I think it's worth pointing out at this stage to anyone just joining us or new to the show, Stefan really likes Thomas Frank and was really pleased with his appointment.
I do really like Thomas Frank. Yes.
I really dislike him, and I'm not happy with his appointment. However, I got
You still don't know why.
Well, I think it... Do you know what? I genuinely been thinking about this a lot, and I think it's because he reminds me of a PE teacher. And
Oh, he
not a
does.
nice one.
The pictures that come out of him with the whistle.
Like, I think he reminds me of the sort of PE teacher that would stand at the end of the showers and be like, "Come on, boys, I need to watch you shower, make sure you've washed." No, just my school that had that. Interesting.
Yeah, I can't say that was something in my... This is...
Yeah, you know, yeah, the PE teacher that would make you bend over and he'd wash your bum hole and stuff. No?
No, my teacher never did that.
Okay, I need to call someone, maybe Childline. Anyway, I think he just might. I don't know. It's like a ridiculous thing that I don't like him. Like, and I've said it loads of times, and because of that, I'm trying to get over it. Yeah. Because it's funny because I think everyone has this in their life. Like someone maybe you've not met, like Thomas Frank. No idea. Probably a lovely guy, but just like there's this weird thing I don't like him. But someone you've worked with or anything like that, and the minute they speak, you just think, asshole, shut up. And like I hear him in interviews, and he's not even saying, like, he's not saying anything at all that's like should annoy me, and he just says it. I'm like, whatever. So yeah, it's a weird thing. I need to get over that. But one of the other thing was about the reason why I wasn't happy with him being appointed is I felt like it was a step backwards. Here is someone with a great record at a smaller club in the Premier League of mid-table finishes, never won a trophy, never competed in Europe, never managed a squad in a 4-competition season, and you have our chairman saying, "Oh, I fired the last guy because he wasn't able to manage the squad in a 4-competition season." And I'm like, hello? What am I thinking here? But anyway, that's by the by. But with the Bournemouth result, what was interesting was there was a load of emails and messages came into the podcast like, "Oh, you're going to be saying you were right," and stuff like that. Now, I feel like I'm now in this horrible situation, a bit like with the Brennan Johnson thing, where every time Tottenham win, I'm going to get shit for it, and I'm going to be like, "Why are you giving me shit? I'm delighted we won." And every time we lose, and I'm already in a bad mood, I'm going to be getting shit for it, because it's like, "Oh, I suppose you're happy." Like, why the would I be happy?
Yeah, aren't you happy that we didn't win a game of football? No,
yeah,
not
it's
really,
bizarre.
actually.
No, really unhappy about it, because I do the page updates for our Facebook, which basically means I watch every single game in a season.
Yes.
And when we're not playing well, that is painful. Like last season, there was a lot of agony and painfulness in that season.
Especially in the league, yeah.
But I had a very real understanding, and it made me angry that the coach and the squad were put in that position. I know a lot of people blame the coach, a lot of people blame the players. I was very much, I'm hating what I'm seeing, and it's all a certain board member's fault. By the way, did you see that a certain person tweeted something about Daniel Levy and has now had a banning order from the club?
I have seen this, about if they were placed in a room with 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that being circulated.
Do you think, therefore, we need to be more careful in what we say?
Possibly.
Because
I mean, we're not putting things straight out onto social media in the extent of that person did.
No, I mean, I'm not advocating someone shoot someone in the head twice. I mean, that's possibly where that steps over a line. But I also know that is a well-known expression of dislike, and that person probably doesn't own a gun and probably has no intention of ever carrying that out.
Didn't we? We got a thing once coming, like an email coming once. If you saw a certain chairman in the league drowning, what ice cream would you buy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I read that out.
Yeah. We haven't been banned yet.
No, so I feel like we need to create a code word, like, so I can talk about him without talking about him, because clearly it's an issue.
I'm going to guess bald twat is too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I think that opens the door for multiple bold twats as well. I think you're leaving that far too open for interpretation. What I will say is, if you're listening right now and you know who I'm talking about, send in your suggestions for a code name that we can use going forward so we can avoid getting banning orders from the club, because that was one that got shared. I mean, I know for a fact that we had our shows listened to for a while, because I had some words to say about a departing. I basically sang "Ding Dong, the Witch is Gone" about Donna Cullen leaving,
You did.
and that didn't go down well.
It did not.
No, and we had this whole fiasco over the logo for Spurs News, and anyway, right, we'll move on because I'm just getting myself in trouble. Why do you think we lose before international breaks? Because this is two different. Because if we go back to the last time, that was Ange beating Luton in his first season. Why is it that under Ange that entire time, and now the first up under Thomas Frank, we have this problem?
It's got to be a mentality thing. It has to be. Now, I don't know if it's a case of players are in one of two minds. One, you've been called up for an international cap.
Yeah.
I don't want to get injured before I
Yeah.
go and play for my country.
Yeah.
Probably there are a lot of countries, the non-European countries, where an international call-up is a lot more well regarded. You only have to look at like the South American countries and quite a few of the African countries.
Yeah.
Being called up for your country is the end of all. Like that is the goal.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like in England, a lot of English players would rather win the Premier League or win the Champions League than go and win something for England. Now that may not be true with everyone, but you do kind of get that feeling.
which is probably why England don't win anything. But that's beside the point.
Most likely, yes. Whereas you see a few of the other countries, like the South American countries, sorry.
Yeah.
Where it means everything to go play for your country. Yeah. So part of me wonders, is it partly I cannot get injured because I'm off to represent my country?
Yeah.
And the other part of me is like, is it also I don't have an international coming up, so therefore I'm about to have 2 weeks off?
But they don't though. If you're not called up, you are basically, you get a couple of days, but you are training every day.
You are still in training. So that was my other thought, was you're then thinking about the beach because, hey, I've got a week off.
Yeah, no. I do wonder that, but then at the same time, surely that would mean every side with a lot of internationals would have this same problem.
Whereas they don't. It just does seem to be us a lot. Now, I hate saying the phrase, it's just us, because like a lot of the times you think that your club has got the worst of something that doesn't happen to anyone else, and you've got 7 clubs thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
But looking at results, it does genuinely seem to be a Tottenham problem that international break, gonna lose.
The longest run of defeats on before an international break belongs to us. The nearest to us is on 4, and we're on 8.
Yeah, that says that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there is an issue there. Now, from my point of view, that game was everything I feared Thomas Frank appointment was. It was pumping the ball up long, losing it straight away on the first or the second ball, and the opposition just coming straight back at us. But at the same time, that was everything I didn't see earlier on. Like against Man City, for example, we were all energy, really at it.
Yeah.
Another statistic worth pointing out, of course, is the Man City thing, because I mentioned that last week. This is a double thing for me, because there is no point going to a top side and beating them if you then lose at home. Like,
correct.
You've completely undone that good work. And I think I shared this in our group, which is the last 4 times we've beat Man City in the league, we've lost the next game. And without wanting to be derogatory, the team we've played next has never been as good as Man City.
Yeah, we're not playing Man City and then like a Liverpool or a Newcastle even next. It's kind of like, okay.
We've lost the next game, and it's been games really we should win, and typically at home. I'm very disappointed. One thing I will say is Thomas Frank, that is his first experience of pre-international break, it is possible that completely caught him off guard, like, what the hell? And therefore, going into the next international break, he will, I hope, get in their faces and scream at them that if they don't perform, none of them are getting paid. Their families are being taken from them at gunpoint. I don't know, something that needs to happen.
Something that gets their asses in gear to play
something
football.
that makes them perform for Tottenham Hotspur prior to leaving, because it's not acceptable. Like, you can lose games anytime, of course you can.
Yep.
But 8 in a row before an international break suggests that's a mentality issue. And that is this current squad. Like, because that is from season 1 of Ange to now. That's 8 international breaks in a row. It's completely unacceptable.
It
So
really is.
that has to be
you're not
fixed.
wrong. Like I say, it just doesn't make sense. You know, it's like, why? Why are we having? Why is this such an issue for us?
Yeah. Well, there's that whole thing about, after the Lord's Mayor show where you don't back up a good performance. And it aggravates the hell out of me because I see pundits slate Tottenham all the time for that. Like Roy Keane had a dig the other day, like, well, what do you expect? It's Tottenham. That's what they do. They'll go to Man City and win and then lose at home. And what aggravates me about that is he's not wrong. And that's why it annoys me. Because there's no logical reason that should be a thing. And, Pochettino, one of the things that I enjoyed most about his tenure is so many of those well-known facts about Tottenham being Spursy and this, that and the other, he eliminated. Like, he dealt with so many of them and they were gone. And then over the sort of 5-6 years after, they gradually flicked back in. Ange, of course, managed to win us a trophy, which, is the ultimate go fark yourselves, all of you.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say is that probably lasts for this season. That is probably it. That we've got this year to enjoy it. So please do enjoy it. I know I am.
Yeah, if we were to get knocked out of the cups early,
yeah,
we're going to be straight back in it.
Oh, yeah. Don't let it fool you. So I don't think there's a lot more to say about that Bournemouth game. My ex supports them, and so it really pissed me off, like, so much. So yeah, completely gutted about that. I'm going to move on. I'm going to take us over to... I put a thing out on Facebook the first time for this new season for comments. Lovely Laura didn't put it on Instagram that I'm aware of. So if you're listening, Laura, you're sacked. Not really. Please don't sue me. But we did get at least one comment on Facebook. So let's have a listen to that right now.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
So normally I do Facebook or Instagram or whatever, but
Mate,
it's literally...
I can trump you.
Okay.
Lovely Laura, as you said her name, put a message in our group chat.
Yeah.
SkySports.com, 3 minutes ago, Daniel Levy steps down as chairman. This is official breaking news. Fabrizio Romero has just tweeted as well. Daniel Levy has left Tottenham Hotspur role with immediate effect. Executive chairman steps down as decision is made. New era starts for Spurs. It's all over. Daniel Levy has gone.
This podcast has just taken a twist I did not see coming.
This has changed. Everything has changed.
What the actual?
See, there were rumours and I didn't believe it.
Alistair Gold, Daniel Levy has stepped down. Yeah, 12 minutes ago, Tottenham Hotspur announced departure of executive chairman Daniel Levy. There is a picture of the outside of the stadium, the lot. The exact thing, I will read the story.
Please do.
Tottenham Hotspur announces that Daniel Levy has today stepped down from his role as executive chairman after nearly 25 years. Tottenham Hotspur has been transformed over the last quarter of a century. It has played in European competitions in 18 of the last 20 seasons. becoming one of the world's most recognised football clubs, consistently investing in its academy, players and facilities, including a new world-class stadium and state-of-the-art training centre. The club has also competed regularly at the highest level, enjoying a number of fantastic on-field success, including the recent Europa League Cup win. As part of its succession planning, the club has made a number of senior appointments in the recent months. Vinay I can't say that one, has hired as Chief Executive Officer, with Thomas Frank as our new men's head coach and Martin Ho as women's head coach. Peter Carrington joined the board and will step into the newly created role of non-executive chairman. This is all part of the club's ambition to ensure that it is set up to deliver long-time sporting success. Daniel Levy said, "I am incredibly proud of the work I have done together with the executive team and all our employees. We have built this club into a global heavyweight competing at the highest level. More than that, we have built a community. I was lucky enough to work with some of the greatest people in this sport, from the team at Lily White House and Hotspur Way to all of the players and managers over the years. I wish to thank all the fans that have supported me over the years. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made, and I will continue to support this club passionately." Peter Charrington, non-executive chairman, said, "I am very honoured to become non-executive chairman of this extraordinary club, and on behalf of the board, I would like to thank Daniel and his family for their commitment and loyalty to the club over so many years. This is a new era of leadership for the club, on and off the pitch. I do recognise there has been a lot of change in recent months as we put in place new foundations for the future. We are now fully focused on stability and empowering our talented people across the club, led by Vinay and his executive team. There are no changes to the ownership or shareholder structure at the club."
Holy forking shirtballs!
Daniel Levy has gone.
I feel really bad. I'm literally just about to read a comment out from one of our listeners. And yeah, that's kind of destroyed the running order here.
I saw her name pop up on my phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go. She's about to tell us it's an Instagram post or something, comment or something.
Yeah.
But no, Daniel Levy is no longer the chairman.
To say that has caught me off guard is an understatement. So I had a kind of prepared thing for the show.
I don't know now. Oh,
okay.
I am left fairly speechless. Like,
give me a second. I just got to throw out the running order.
I mean, we've had breaking news and bits before, but that in the middle of a podcast, this is going to be really weird because this is going to go out. Obviously, I just realised everyone's going to know about it, and we're going to stop in the middle of a podcast and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So, Tom, thanks for the question. I'll save it because we got to talk about this. Now, this show originally was going to be talking about the transfer window and everything like that, but we're going to pivot.
I am amazed that he has stepped down entirely. Now, I have said multiple times that when it comes to business, there is no one better in the Premier League than Daniel Levy at a business point of view. The deals he can get done, the things that we have now at the club, the stadium, the NFL, everything in it is now a money-making machine. In terms of business, there's no one better. In terms of football, I've said for many years that he should take a back step and let someone else deal with the football side.
Oh, wow.
What I didn't expect was him to go, yep, I'm stepping down altogether. And at the start of a season.
So,
what the hell has happened?
Okay, so let's get myself back together on this. So first of all, Daniel Levy, I believe, genuinely believe in the history of our football club, he will be looked upon fondly. I genuinely believe that. I think he needs to not be there for us to appreciate the work he's done. The delivering us, like, we can all lament the lack of football success 100%. Let's park that topic over to one side for a moment. And let's look at the fact that when the Premier League came about, the money that came into football was insane. Yeah. Like, money in football had sort of been there, but the Premier League and then wallop. Manchester United and then a couple of other clubs were lucky enough that their period of dominance, if you like, was right when that money came in.
Yeah.
So Man United and then Arsenal and a couple of other clubs absolutely coined it in. The only way to break that monopoly at that time, due to the fact that they could literally just pick and choose the players they wanted from every club, which they did, was for someone to, burn through a shed load of money. Enter Roman Abramovich into Chelsea.
Yes. Yeah.
And just insane amount of money spent. The fact that Chelsea still do this now is mind-boggling, but insane sum spent, built squad after squad to go and compete. And, of course, Manchester City then later did that as well.
Yeah.
When Chelsea did it, however, there were a lot of talk amongst all of the other clubs of, like, now, hang on a minute. Like, what you're telling us is that football in merit doesn't exist anymore, because if someone can just walk into the Premier League, buy a club with all that wealth, and they just win everything, what's the point? So they created a set of rules. UEFA, FIFA, the FA, the Premier League, all different rules across the thing. We all know them as the financial fair play and all the different variations. And one thing that Daniel Levy did upon looking at those rules and realising they were being implemented and knowing what they would mean is he immediately worked on building the revenue stream at the club, and built it to a point via the stadium, via marketing and merchandising deals, via strategic partnerships with the NFL, F1, countless organisations, rugby union, Saracens, etc., etc. And he made it and he built it, and that, for me, is the legacy of him as our chairman, and that is he leaves today, and the position we are in as a football club, the stadium debt from building it is completely serviced by third-party events, concerts, rugby, NFL. All of those events literally pay the stadium debt. So all of the football activity, etc., all of that from the stadium, which is vast, is into the football side of it. So our revenue stream as a club is massive. And as that stadium debt is cleared, the sky's the limit of what the club can do. We've all known that for a while. We've all known that. We all kind of got sold the stadium would be the game changer, and then it wasn't. I think a lot of people forget the pandemic in that made a massive impact. But the criticism then comes where decisions were made on a footballing side which make no sense. Like, there's no logic to some of the decisions. And you only got to read, like, I read a lot of biographies and a lot of books, and I read a lot of articles. And there's a lady on Twitter who I follow who put together an amazing thread of this, which is every manager who's worked under Daniel Levy has basically got the same stories to tell upon leaving about trying to sign players, what they wanted to do versus what they got, the problems they had, and how it was Daniel Levy directly that was the problem.
Yeah.
Every single manager, right, all the way back to his first, which I think was George Graham, who he fired to appoint Glenn Hoddle, all the way up to Pochettino and the modern managers, every single one of them has had that to say. And it's interesting to me when you saw that interview with Gary Neville recently, and now a greater context clearly is he's trying to massage the legacy. He's trying to kind of be like, this is how I want people to think of me, not all this other stuff. Ignore the history. We just want a trophy. You know, think of me in this context. I mean, I'm still absorbing the information because, I mean, he's been the chairman of Tottenham Hotspur for 25 years. Yeah. That means there are people who are 25 years old and Tottenham fans who have known nothing else. And I will say this as well, and I will point this out, and people my age and older will also know this. It wasn't a picnic before ENIC. Like, Alan Sugar was not a good football chairman. He really wasn't.
No.
You know, and before that, the club was literally bankrupt, on the verge of going under. So the chairman before Alan Sugar wasn't a good football chairman. The club did win things in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, but it clearly wasn't prepared for Premier League money, clearly wasn't prepared for the way the game had gone. And that's so you have to give massive credit to him. You just have to. Like the 25 years, quarter of a century tenure in any job is, I mean, there's a great argument that it's too long. Like, you know, it becomes stale. And perhaps that is where he's suddenly hit this thing of like, I've just won something. Do I really need the dog's abuse? Do I really need to go to a stadium where the fans, 60,000, the stadium I built, and 60,000 fans calling me a cunt non-stop? Probably not. You probably don't need that in your retirement years.
No. I am absolutely in shock.
I do think it's worth pointing out as well that right at the start of the summer, May, June time, when Donna Cullen left the club, etc. and stuff, there was actually a very, very strong rumour at the time that Daniel Levy was leaving. And I remember speaking to a few people who I knew would kill that for me, if you know what I mean. Like they got close enough ties that they'd be able to go, no.
Yeah,
and they said at the time, to be honest, there's a lot of uncertainty. No one's quite sure what's going on. I putting 2 and 2 together, making 55 maybe. I looked at that from the point of view of it seemed that maybe part of the club was being sold. Do you remember the day we agreed the fee for Kudus and then the very next day we agreed the release clause for Gibbs White?
Yes.
Bearing in mind that would be a 55 million outlay and a 60 million outlay in 2 days. And there were loads of stories from journalists with Spurs basically saying, oh, Tottenham have agreed an investment package, they've got the money available, that's why they're there spending. And so I, again, putting 2 and 2 together, I was like, oh, okay, clearly something's going on. There's this rumour that Daniel's leaving. There's this investment that's come in. I know, and I know this firsthand, so I can say this as fact, people wanted to buy Tottenham Hotspur from ENIC. ENIC wanted to sell, but Daniel wanted to stay on. And that was a deal breaker. And there's certain things, I've said this before on the podcast, and I hope people know this. There's certain things I'll say, I think this, and I've put this together myself. There's stuff that I've been told, and then there's stuff I actually am able to just through work and through people I work with. I can say, oh, I know about that because of this, but I can't say. But I do know that. I do know that there was a deal put together with a big investment firm, very interested, but the deal breaker was that Daniel would stay on, whereas the investment company wanted to wipe the board and do it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where it stuck. So when I was hearing that about there's investment coming in and Daniel might be leaving, I'm thinking, oh, okay. But of course, then the summer carries on. We didn't spend big at that moment. We did then sign, Xavi, who I'm told we have to call Xavi, by the way. That's what he wants on his shirt, etc. So a bit like Deli wanted to be Deli, not Ali after, so Xavi. Fine, I'm up for that. I don't mind. It's easier for me to say.
Yeah.
But so we did spend money. So there was money, there was cash there. And at the start of the summer, it was, we got to sell. We have to sell before we buy. That was the word that was put out to everybody. Then we had this mad moment, so funds were made available, and then obviously the deals didn't happen, so we're all screaming at each other like, oh, where's this money then, you bar stewards? And then we did spend it towards the end of the window, which is good. But I am absolutely in shock, because the rumour was there, everyone was just kind of, nah, but then the whole summer happened, and I'm like, oh, clearly that was nonsense then.
I can't work out the timing.
It has to be he worked the transfer window. It has to be. It has to be that he worked because he was embedded. He was the one with the budgets. He was the one doing it. And it would make sense that he remains in place until that's done. Even if you're looking from a point of view of he's a pain in the ass, like negotiating, he does our head in, which I've discussed multiple times. I think every club in Europe now hates him ringing.
Yeah, if he had left at the beginning of the summer, would we have got Eze? Would we have got? Would we have got Gay? Because we would have just gone straight in for him before the Liverpool thing. Like,
I'm going to say one of the things computer games has ruined football with is the belief that if you walk up to a club with the money, that you just get the player. Mark Gahey wanted to join Liverpool and waited the entire window and then got shafted. Liverpool were upset, the players upset, but what I would say on that is, like, there's this whole thing about he gets really well paid, he has to go do his job, and he will. But my point is, he did everything right. He played well, he was committed.
Scored a hell of a goal in what should have been his last game for the club.
And he didn't get his move. They basically shafted him on deadline day after allowing him to do a medical and everything. Then you've got Isak, who kicked off, went on strike, went to social media, slagged off people saying he had an agreement to leave.
Refused to train with his team and went and trained with his ex-team.
And he gets to move. So we talk about loyalty and stuff in players. If you're Mark Gahey right now, you got to be looking at that going, so I've done everything right. I've behaved, I've been professional, I didn't get my move. That guy kicked off like a son of a bitch and he got his. So next time I'm in this situation, so if you're a player in the league right now and you're looking at that going, oh, I know what I have to do then.
Well, like Wissa did the exact same thing, Brentford to Newcastle.
Yeah, he got his move.
Which was ironic with Newcastle kicking off about the fact that Isak was doing it and then signed a player that did the same thing.
Absolutely shameless. Literally, Anthony Gordon at Everton did the same thing to join them, and not one Newcastle fan had the brain cells to join those two dots. So nah, fuck them. I ain't going to get involved in that. But yeah, this whole show, like this whole thing was going to be talking about transfer. I just feel like now, what now? Like, so our identity as a football club for 25 years has been shaped by Daniel Levy. Like, I've been reading for a week or so that Paratici's coming back. He was close with Levy. Is he still coming back? Is him returning part of this restructure? They, surely they would have announced it in that.
I mean, this is going to have to be one hell of a restructure. I mean, like, a non-executive chairman. So are you the chairman or not? You're better on the business terms than I am.
Yeah.
What's a non-executive chairman compared to an executive chairman?
Sorry, mate. I'm in a group chat with several people who are very.
Oh man, that's going to be going off.
And the very first thing I've seen is a meme, Daniel leaving, and that just sums up the kind of stupid sense of humour of the people I talk to. Someone else has just said, "Oh my God, Ange was right. Season 3 is better than Season 2." Yeah.
Yes.
There's.
Oh wow. I am just absolutely in shock. I really am.
So sorry, mate. You asked me a question. A non-executive isn't hands-on. So they're a figurehead. They sit in on meetings, budgets, but they are not day-to-day running of a football club in this context.
In a sense, it's everything we've all said Daniel Levy should be. We now have another guy doing it.
We do have another guy doing it, and this, to me, is where I've got this, which is Vinay, who was former Arsenal, was in charge at Arsenal during the Thomas Partey incident, and so he is now, in essence, running Tottenham. Levy and his family still own a massive chunk because of a beneficiary trust that they've got. I think it's about 25 to 30%. I don't know the exact figure.
However, that statement also says that the structure, like the ownership and the shareholders, haven't changed.
Yeah,
so Levy's stepping down, but will be keeping his shares.
Another brilliant message is from one of the fan protest groups saying, "Not sure who to protest now." Someone else has put, "Did we win?" I don't know. My favourite tweet so far, though, is hashtag Vinay out, which is brilliant.
Let's start it early.
I mean, it's going to sink in for everyone, and by the time people are listening to this, I mean, this show's going to go out Thursday evening, so the day of it's announced, a lot of people will probably hear it on Friday or over the weekend, and it's going to be sinking in for everyone. Please be aware, we are literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes into recording this when the news broke.
Yeah.
So for us, if we've rambled a bit and we were a bit incoherent, that's why. Because
we literally saw it live on recording and went, what the...
I mean, it is such a massive shift because for the first time in a long time, we genuinely now don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is in everything. Like, we know we don't pay the fees. We know our negotiation tactics have been nickel and diming. We know... But now we don't. Like, this is literally a brand new day for the football club, and I'm struggling for words because I said,
look, I'm 35 now. Daniel Levy's been there since I was 10.
Yeah.
I don't remember much in terms of football before the 2002 World Cup.
Holy shit, you're 35 now, man. You are
halfway
aging.
to 70. Or with my health problems, halfway to death.
You think you're hitting 70? Fair play.
It'll be nice when I can't guarantee it. But I don't remember really much in football before the 2002 World Cup.
You have no idea how much that hurts me, by the way.
I know, I'm sorry. But so that means, for me, Daniel Levy is literally all I know at Tottenham.
I need to get Matt back just so I don't feel so old like that. Like, hang on a minute. Because the 2002 World Cup, I was like, I'd finished school.
You were what, mid-20s at that point?
Fuck you. I was 19.
I was far off. Okay. Anyway, do you remember Ronaldo and the weird triangle haircut?
Yeah, but see, the funny thing is, like, you're talking about that, I only had this conversation the other day because I didn't fall in love with football until Italia 90. The Italia 90 World Cup, I was obsessed and I fell in love with it. And what's kind of funny is, like, Tottenham then won the FA Cup in 91. So to me, I've seen this World Cup and it was just incredible spectacle. England got to the semi-finals and I'm just like blown away. So I'm still quite young then. I'd have been 7 then. We won the FA Cup, I was 8. So for me, like, football's glory and it's wonderful. And then it was just horrific all through the 90s being a Tottenham fan. Like, I can't even put into words how horrendous that was. Like, just absolutely soul-destroying relegation fights.
I've seen Premier League years and I've watched the tables and results and gone, what do you mean we regularly finished in 14th?
Oh, mate.
What are you on about?
It was painful. And funny because last season when we finished 17th, I think a lot of you youngsters finally got to feel it. Like, you whippersnappers, you finally got to feel what I did. I just don't know what... Like, it's a brand new day, man. Like, I don't know what to say, because who's going to handle transfers now? Who's going to do the negotiations?
Surely
Are they going to bring
Paratici
back?
Paratici?
Because Vinay never did that at Arsenal.
No.
He never got involved in that. They had a director of football, but, and again, please pardon my opinion on this, but I don't think Lang is a director of football. I think he's a phenomenal scout, talent spotter. But how many times have we read, and it's been backed up, even with his bloody statement, oh yeah, you know, we identify the players and then, you know, the club go and do, which is Daniel Levy, go and do the negotiations. Well, Daniel Levy's gone.
Who now does that negotiation?
I'm telling you now,
this is...
it's got to be Paratici. If they have brought him back in a director of football role, with Lang as the technical director who's basically going to be working with him so they complement each other, I'll be over the moon.
That could be a really, really good
Because the thing about Paratici, other than being a criminal, which he is, but we love him for that, he has this incredible reputation in European football. And he has so many contacts and so many friends, is the exact opposite of how Daniel Levy ended up, which was in this kind of everyone like, oh, Daniel Levy from Tottenham's on line 1. Oh, fuck, here we go. Like, okay, he's worth 60 million, Daniel. 45. No, Daniel. You know, all right, ring me back in a week and offer me another 10 pence.
Yeah.
It just like, it becomes so thing. And, do you know, as I'm saying this, by the way, I've just had this real pit of my stomach terror kick in. Can you imagine if Daniel Levy, he did this interview with Gary Neville, and part of the interview really focused on football regulation. Can you imagine if he's quit Tottenham and in a couple of weeks' time we hear he's now the chairman of the FA or the Premier League for oversight of all of football?
Oh,
like,
God.
all these Tottenham fans are like, we're free, and then he takes over the whole league.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and now president of UEFA. No! Just like, oh, just no. He wants to retire. I'm just, that was just like a, oh, my chest actually hurt as I thought of that. That was.
I know, right? Here's the head of UEFA. Oh,
yeah,
God.
like, yeah. Here, and the person that the government have appointed to oversee all football regulation, Daniel Levy.
Hold up, they're putting in a regulator, aren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm on about. Oh yeah. Daniel Levy talking to Gary Neville, I think is a bad idea, terrible idea. Yeah, football should regulate itself. You know,
It's basically just his way of advertising to the government to put an extra 0 on his pay balance.
Mate. No. Shake that off. But Tottenham fans, Stefan, everybody listening, it is a brand new day.
Am I really excited or am I really nervous?
Both, and it's right to be both, because
Or somewhere in between.
No, it's right to be both, because it's exciting because it is a brand new day, and it's terrifying because I know before Daniel Levy we were near bankrupt, and I know Alan Sugar as a chairman was an absolute idiot as a football chairman. I have no idea what this new setup will be like. They could be worse. Like, we've complained for 25 years about Daniel Levy, and all of a sudden these new people could be like, yeah, we've spent 400 million on players and we all celebrate. The players are all crap. We're suddenly caked in debt.
Yeah.
You know, and our best players are leaving and they're going, oh yeah, we got to balance the book, so we've had to sell everyone.
Oh, Daniel Levy to Gary Neville made a comment about how he thinks once he's gone, people will understand all the stuff he's done.
No, I mean that's
And I'm like,
that is
Christ.
true though. When I saw that interview, that is something he said that I did agree with, and I said that a minute ago.
Yeah.
I think in the history of this football club, he overall will be looked on fondly, but a lot of that is going to sound silly is what happens next, because his tenure will be looked on fondly because it went from in financial shit. Alan Sugar bought the club and saved it. Didn't really take it forward, didn't really understand the football aspect of it at all. Levy and Enoch did do that, did modernise, did bring it forward, but there's still footballing success didn't feel like a priority to them in any sense, shape or form. Man, there's just so many questions I have though, because there's so much stuff left undone. Like, he is an absolute control freak, and it just feels weird to me that he's left things up in the air, like the hotel development. Like, our stadium's been selected for one of the stadiums for the European Championships.
Yeah.
That hotel development and everything is a massive part of it, and he's so, like, he is so hands-on with all of this stuff.
Not now, he's not.
It's crazy. No. I will just say this. I'm going to say this, all right? For all of my "he should leave" and everything that I've said in time, and the fact that at the start of the show I'm talking about we need a code word for him to slag him off because clearly there's some issues. I'm gonna say this. I hope he's healthy, and I hope he's well, and I hope he's doing this to do something else or whatever. I never, like, there's not many people. I was literally about to say there's no one on this planet I'd wish harm to. That's a lie. There are several people on this planet
that
I would
is
wish harm
false
to.
news.
That is fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah. There are. Yeah, read between the lines. But when it comes, I hope he's healthy. I hope his family's healthy. I hope this isn't a decision that's had to happen quickly due to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I hope really there's nothing in the
really
background.
I really hope in the coming days there isn't news that really hits on that, because love him, hate him, whatever like that. 25 years service to the football club. You look at the transformation in the club from the training ground being dodgy pitches and basically a shed to what it is now. The facilities, everything that's been done, it is insane. And that is under his tenure, his drive, his vision, his work ethic to do it.
No one can say he has not changed this club.
No. Now it's about us as a fan base looking at this saying, okay. And I do genuinely believe this. I think his legacy will be one of people will look back on fondly if the club has a successful period footballing wise now. Because you can look at that and say, okay, for 25 years he didn't win as much on the pitch, but he transformed it so the club could then go forward and have this successful period. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Another thing I will say is it wasn't that long ago he sat there next to Vinay talking about wanting to win the Premier League, wanting to win the Champions League, and he was saying all of that in a very much we, us. So something has changed. Something has changed, whether that's he just got so fed up of, like I said, I worked so hard to build this stadium and 60,000 people are sort of telling me to fuck off out of it. I don't know. I mean, I do know that people who are close to him have often said, like, he doesn't understand the criticism. And like I've always said, I'd love to sit down with him because I'd love to have a conversation with him and just kind of explain a point of view to him. Because I'd love to hear his perspective, for one, because I think he's an intelligent guy. But also I'd love to put the perspective to him of like, look, might be, you might disagree with this perspective, but this is one that us fans have. And you can't just dismiss it. Oh, you're wrong. No, you need to show us. Like, you can't just be like, oh, no, that's not right. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know when you're like, going into this podcast, you'd already told me exactly what was being said and when, and,
yeah.
You know, he hasn't given me a script, but, you know, this is the kind of thing. And then, lovely Laura didn't bother putting anything on Instagram. Oh, wait, I've got a message from her. Oh, my God. And this is madness. Like, I have a lot of mixed feelings towards Daniel Levy for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Mostly involving players like Diablo and, you know, players that we should have signed and we never did. But I never, ever expected us to be doing a podcast and for me to go, oh, Daniel Levy's left.
Yeah.
Like, that news, that has blown my mind, that has.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I
You
said,
say
25
brand new
years.
day. What happened? My only hope is that we're not going to be in 12 months' time in a situation where we're like, oh, be careful what you wish for.
I mean, that's the same as anything. But I mean, I think.
Let the grass be greener. Come on.
No, let's look at it from the point of view. Let's end this podcast because everyone's going to be absorbing this news, and listening to us in shock for another 10, 15 minutes isn't going to help anyone.
No. Me just sitting there going, wow.
But what I would say is let's end this on a positive note in the sense of it is a brand new day. It is an interesting thing, and we are now not going to know what this means for this football club until January.
At least.
What I mean by that is, like, the footballing. If you look at last season, for example, the manager made it clear the squads are broken down. We didn't have enough players. I'm trying to get through. I need reinforcements in January. Some arrived, not as many as they needed, and they arrived late. That arriving late is typical of Tottenham for 25 years. It just is. Like, that is standard. And I know that transfers happen at different times. Like, I know, for example, Xavi wasn't available to us earlier in the window. Then all of a sudden, when there was a chance, we jumped on it. All of that I completely understand, and that's why that deal happened late in the window. 100%, I get it. Sometimes an opportunity appears. Brilliant, whatever. My point is, though, you look at the Eze deal as the most recent example. 2-3 weeks prior to him going to Arsenal, he had a release clause. Maddison was injured. We identified him as the replacement. That deal gets done. But instead, there were 3 weeks of haggling just to end up at the amount of the release clause anyway.
And by that point, Arsenal then actually needing him.
Arsenal had an injury, etc. Now, as it is, and I say this genuinely, that kid clearly never wanted to join us. Die-hard Arsenal fan from a die-hard Arsenal fan family. He was looking at joining us reluctantly to get Champions League football and take the next steps. Knowing that, I know for a fact Ange would have told him to go away. Ange had that
100%,
policy.
Absolutely, no question about it. That
Thomas
would have been a
Frank,
phone call and either winning him over or telling him to go get...
Yeah, all right, enjoy your time at Palace or Arsenal because you're not signing for us if you don't want to be here. Thomas Frank then says in the first press conference after he joins Arsenal, I only want players at this football club who want to be here. Exactly right. Absolutely spot on. But my point is on that, like, if you take away that element of it, that is a deal that could have been and should have been done, and there are countless examples of that. But in January, we don't know where the sky's going to be. We know there are issues with our squad, massive issues with our squad. And it's going to be fascinating to me. Like, the club know they need to sign homegrown players. They know that there is a premium to that. They also need to get club-trained player numbers up. So our academy needs to produce players. We need to increase that. It needs to be better.
Yep.
And at the same time, we need to win, like on the pitch, because success breeds success. Winning that Europa League will become like the 2 League Cups if we don't follow it up. It's a brand new day. This is insane. I like I said, like, I have no idea where madness happens, but that is our show. Our plan is that we're going to take next week off because it's the international break and we got no games to talk about. Depending on work and things, we may well do another show to talk about the transfer window.
Yeah, because that was meant to be the last half hour of this show.
Yeah, but like genuinely, like that, we had to talk about that. massive thank you for listening. Apologies that this became so rambled and crazy, but hopefully you'll understand the feelings, and literally it happened live, so maybe that'll be kind of fun to listen to. We will be back soon. Keep an eye on the socials. I'll put a post out when we know. My work week looks insane, which is why I'm saying it might not be. We might need to take the week off. But if we do take the week off with the international break, the following week we will have 2 games to discuss. West Ham away and Villarreal at home. And we will also then throw in an extra section around the transfer window if we don't do a show in between. But, mate, final words from you?
Yeah, it's been typical Tottenham, isn't it, really? It's very Spursy. There's always something happening.
Always something going on at this football club. Until next time, everybody, you all take care.
And quiz, Daniel.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.